Welcome to another adventure into reality episode. Who knows? Get the exact count in a little bit. All right, Robert, we're going to take our first call. Wheel of callers. Cantor, Louisiana, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is William.
Hi, William. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
So what kind of questions do you have today?
Yes, I was wondering, tell me how many future lives do I have left here on Earth before I can get out the Galactic ascension machine?
It's an interesting question. Have you listened to a lot of the material?
Yes, I have.
So what does the Galactic Ascension Machine mean to you?
Is a karmic resolution machine.
Okay. Have you completed all of your karma?
I'm not certain.
So then what is the point of wanting to leave something that's meant to resolve your karma?
I guess I meant it more like, I'm not saying I want to leave now. I'm just curious on how many more incarnations or reincarnations I have until, let's say, they drop the Galactic Ascension Machine.
There you go.
Go home.
Now you've engaged your genius. Perfect. And you've answered the question. And the answer is, what is your perception of linear time? And why does it influence you in seeing incarnations and reincarnations as not already happening with you already out of the Galactic Ascension Machine?
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
Because everything is perspective and point of view. As I've said on a number of shows, linear time was solely created for this reality. No other place uses linear time like we do. None other. That's why it's a unique experience, and the Galactic Ascension Machine is such a highly prized machine because it is a belief engine. There are no moving parts to it. It's an engine of belief, woven together through thousands and millions of generations that were born in DNA skin suits, that were here to do what? Resolve karma. 987,000 skin suits hold all of the resolution. That's how many different versions of human beings there are. A little under 200,000 of those skin suits live on the surface of our world. So that's a full 80% of our soul family is not even available on the surface of the world. This longing you feel to be free is really the longing to simultaneously exist with all of those beings that matter in the greater strength of our soul. And it is only our perception that limits us from connecting to them. That's why in the course, Living the Mystical Life Daily, there is a meditation teaching that is by design to create soul family reunion. Have you seen that one?
I've gotten the one with the heart meditation, yes.
So this is called the Soul Family Reunion. So this is actually in the course. It's the 8th meditation teaching. And in this one, you go through this process of claiming your energy, getting your spot in your soul family council of elders, making it a master emanation point, becoming part of hierarchical and non-hierarchical time. And then you make a declaration to all of your soul family members to come and have a soul family reunion here on Earth. And then there's an additional process that solidifies that with an RSVP process that asks those soul families in the right and perfect alignment to come and visit you in the dream space of Earth. That right there, you're outside of the galactic ascension machine. As multidimensional, multifunctional photonic beings of light, one perception is not our limitation. We have thousands of perceptions we could have simultaneously, and it not affect and damage this reality. That's greater awareness.
Funny you say soul family, because that was kind of one of my questions too, was if there was any soul family around. So most of us are detached from that soul family. That's what the system does, right?
Yes, it does. But I said 80% of our totality of soul family are not present on this world. That means 20% is here. Now, of that 20%, that's astral world, surface world, subsurface world. They're split between three. So that really leaves 3.25%, 3.33% in each layer of reality. That's the perfect level, or 97% incompatibility rate. That's what this world wants, is what's called an incompatibility rate, meaning it'll risk running things through an observational process and allow certain levels of things to get through and make restrictive rules in the astral world to make sure specific rules can't get through. So the filters have clogs in them. And those clogs are what we call the Arkan system. Now, a significant portion of the Arkan system has been deconstructed just by it becoming into the global awareness. And what the Arkan network does, in essence, is controls the who lives and who dies process by saying the same amount that goes in, this is the same amount that must go out. Each day. They are all equal balanced. So there's a limited amount of lives and deaths, not just in humans, but dogs, cats, rats, monkeys, goldfish, wheat, corn, trees, birds, other microorganisms. Because 1 second in linear time here, as a manifestation in the galactic ascension machine, can clear out 1 billion years of karma for certain beings, depending on the form of resolution. There are some beings who come in and are a kelp for 50 straight years, and that's resolved their 1 billion years of war karma, because that's how little they wanted to interact with the people here. And there are others that chose to be presidents of the United States, like Trump, because they had a greater debt to resolve.
So you say the Arcanic system, and I know you said in some of your videos that there's only down to 2 of the multidimensional beings left, and those were the ones that were fully invested here.
Yep.
And then eventually they get, if I'm right, it's 2, right?
It was 3. It's technically 3, but one of those 3 is playing mercenary. So the new galaxy has been set up, the 18th galaxy in this particular rung, and it's not taking immigration yet, but it is operating as a council of prime creators. So other prime creators of other universes who are truly a separate source are acting as a council together to, let's say, filter and interview the first generation that's going to allow the fullness of potentiality of what's being deported from this universe, this galaxy, and putting into the new one. And the one that's playing mercenary right now is for the highest bidder on other, let's just say, universal expressions who want to make a big impact with their version of forced evolution.
So individuals that are like, service to self ascended, like Obama, I remember you saying, so what happens to them? Do they get a chance to get off world, or they go to the universal?
The majority of those that are a part of our global narrative will have to go through what's called a recapitulation process, meaning the life that they've led now and then the next set of lives they will live will be in service to the galaxy or universe, meaning the universe basically has got a plan for them to return home. And if they veer from that plan, they basically get deported.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like work release.
I mean, certain requirements, right?
Yeah, certain requirements. Yeah.
Right. I had one question. and this is kind of a few months back. I felt like I was abducted in the middle of the night. It was pretty vivid, and it was on June 2nd this year. I was wondering if you could look into my Akashic record, and it happened in the middle of the early morning of that day.
Were you asleep in your room? Were you asleep in your room?
I was asleep, and then all of a sudden I was conscious, but I couldn't open my eyes, and I was on my back, and it felt like multiple people were in the room doing things to me, and I remember feeling very angry, and then I remember losing consciousness again.
All right, I'm tuning in. I think you actually woke up in a dream experience. So there are times when you are in deep dream and something is happening to another version of you in the dream world, because in your dream world you have many versions of you running and continuously running, whether you're asleep or awake, doesn't matter. There are multiple versions. And one particular version that is on the, let's just say, truly trying to heal path, had a big incoming healing process, and all those beings that you perceived around you were its guides, guardians, and stuff helping it, because it is technically on another timeline that is about to be shut down. And when that timeline shuts down, you will integrate that soul shard and literally get new memories that you never knew you had. But you will know that you've had them because they're the memories of another you, and they will not be in competitions with the memories that you have now of the you of the now. And that's why you've linked through this dream world process. It's a premonition of what's to come for you.
Okay, yeah, I was pretty concerned about that dream, though, or that moment. It was pretty weird. I was having a lot of weird moments throughout that week. And just a few days later, on June 9th, the same year, it felt like I was just standing around while I was at work, but I felt like I was scanned on multiple layers. Like, I felt my very being like split into like maybe 4 pieces, like kind of like being scanned, like the physical, the nervous system, the energy system, my skeletal frame, my muscle frame.
That's the continuation of the healing. So the soul shard, it doesn't come in at 100 miles an hour and just always land perfectly. It takes time to integrate. And that feeling of being scanned like that, well, part of that was the continuing unknowingness factor of what was going on. First, you were not abducted. You did not have UFO energy around you, nor did you have time distortion. This is a full-on dream interaction, meaning when you woke up and became lucid in the dream, you were still having issue between which was the real you, even though they're both the real you. You are a multidimensional being, innately. So there was no distortion, separation energy from technology creating that, or no curse or no magic creating that. It was solely you creating it. And it was a challenge to know what side was you. And once you chose your side, you had already lost. You had created an expectation and thought you were being harmed and used your anger and turned on your adrenal gland. As soon as you said you got mad, there's adrenals. Adrenals completely change the lucidity. Now, off-worlders and negatives want us to go into to adrenal glands because they can control at that point. Well, once you go into adrenal gland, you still have other abilities to control. What I can say is, for anyone that's out there that thinks they are having a negative experience, if it comes on like a monster movie and it's blood, guts, and gore and fear and all of this stuff, you have at any point in time can demasculate it all. I want you to think of 10,000 swords coming out of every direction, cutting every fabric of layer of reality and shredding it, and then you reintegrating the reality And every time something of the horror movie tries to re-imprint you, simply start shredding it like it's paper. The reality is that mutable. And when off-worlders go to, let's say, use you in that scenario, if you are well practiced with the swords, the blades, the fire, whatever it is that you're used to melt the reality and reshape it around, and once you're able to do that good enough, you actually will be able to do harm on a psychic level to those off-worlders that are in the negatives that are trying to do it. And remember, they're all linked into a collective. So when you do any form of damage, even if it's, making them laugh, you affect the whole collective. And they're really quite easy. They're like a house of cards, really.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, that's good to know, because I had an incident with a hive mind mantis a ways back that was trying to do something or trick me, negativity. So that's good to know, things like that.
Okay. What was it trying to do to trick you?
I was in meditation, and it was more of a drone, but it was part of a hive mind, and there was a controller of the hive mind off to the side, but it wouldn't let me see it. So it was trying to talk through more of the drone.
Uh-huh.
And it was trying to pretend it was the drone, and it was trying to, I'm not sure it's in-game, but it seemed like it was trying to make me agree willfully to different things. I'm not sure. I didn't let it go on, because I was like, no, thank you, because I felt like it was, I could feel it deceiving me.
Okay.
So, I shut off the communication, and then it took like a few minutes before it stopped trying to interact with me.
Okay. What exactly was it asking you?
I think it was trying to ask my permission to.
What exactly was it asking? Yeah.
I want to say, if I can remember correctly, I want to say maybe getting me to allow it to abduct me in the middle of the night, or to interact with me more.
Okay.
And it just seemed like it needed my permission to do.
So it was actually coming to you in a state when you were in meditation and asking to interact with you.
Yeah, but it seemed like it was trying to deceive me. That's why I kind of cut it off.
How did you perceive it was trying to deceive you?
I just empathically felt something was off. Because I kept trying to talk to the hive mind off to the side, but it wouldn't let me talk to it. It would. Trying to make me
it is always the hive mind. So
okay.
you're saying through your perception, you said you thought it was trying to make you a drone?
No. It was talking through a lesser mantis.
Okay,
I'm just rephrasing the lesser mantis as a drone.
Okay, so they're a hive mind, so they're always one. So in reality, this being wasn't trying to deceive you; it was trying to make first contact, and this is where cultural misunderstandings come through.
Right.
Right.
I guess now that I've had somebody to talk to about it, I guess you're right. Now that I think about it.
Right.
I guess that was a big misunderstanding.
And the fact that it stopped is important. It still finished its chitter chatter trying to pitch its sail to you. And that's okay.
Right. Okay. Well, that kind of puts a lot of ease to my mind when you let me know about the healing part and about what the aliens.
Yeah, I think now you're kind of realizing you've got a lot of beings that are trying to communicate to you right now.
Yeah, I've had 2 other alien encounters. One was in dream time. There was 3 of them, and then the other one was actually in the waking world. That was a reptilian. But both of those other two incidents, they didn't feel hostile. But they looked like they were just observing. They didn't try to communicate.
Mm-hmm. They were trying to see if you were talkable to.
I'm not, I can't 100% say what was their motive, but I didn't feel any hostility.
Okay. So a lot of times, I use this metaphor, when they try to psychically communicate to us, it's like you being in a busy street, thousands of people on the sidewalk, and somebody walking up into you says, "Hey, do you have the time?" and trying to engage you in a conversation. How awkward does that feel?
Well, I guess if it was human that I'm used to seeing every day, it wouldn't be so awkward.
Well, again, if somebody follows you, if they walk up and ask you the time, and then you give them the time, and they keep walking with you through the crowd of people and asking about your life story, doesn't that seem weird?
Yes.
Because you are moving in linear time and they are not. Okay? That's one of the fundamental perception differences. They are not linear time, you are. So you are constantly moving forward through I am moments, moment to moment to moment. And not all your I am moments are seen together in a full stream of memories, because theirs are. So the last time they had a conversation with you, even if it was 5,000 years ago, is like 1 second to them.
I can understand that. I actually had a past life regression with Debbie, where one of my past lives was depressed, and I didn't really think about it, but I just kind of instinctively sent out love and encouragement to it to pick up its life and get moving, because I saw its entire life before me, and I saw its potentiality. And when you know, it actually picked up the message, and for me, it was only 3 hours of a session, but for it was his whole life hearing encouragement coming from a future life. And it picked up its life and, had a really great life and productive life.
It is that simple at times. Everything here is perception and then context of the perception.
Yeah, I truly learned what multidimensional beings we were that day.
And you have many more lessons like that to come. I would say it's time for you to do a first contact back. Okay? And this may require some true hyper creativity on your part, where you create your version of walking into their no time space and saying, "Hey, do you have the time?" No time being. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Okay.
I know there's
thought about it. I never thought about actually communicating with them.
Right. Okay.
That's a good idea.
And do all your powerful revocations and do all of your incantations so that you are in your form of I am protectedness. You've done your sacred work, done your due diligence. Go and knock on their door. Knock, knock. I do it all the time. I surprise the shit. I pop up onto some ships and they're like, "How the hell did you get there?" I'm like, "There is no separation."
It's funny. That's the most simplest idea, and it just didn't come to me.
I am the grandmaster of the obvious.
I love that. I definitely want to do that, because I don't mind communicating with them. So I think that's a great idea. I think I'll do my part from my end. Maybe I'll
take them to a virtual nightclub. Go out and get the mantis drunk, the whole collective. Get them on the dance floor. Some hot mantis action.
Jeez.
They're loving beings.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
People tell me they're pretty interesting things. But I do have one more question, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm having some trouble with sun meditation, and what's happening is when I used to do it, I haven't done it in a few months because of this incident, but I would go out and I would connect with the sun and meditate and, close your eyes, like you say, and let the energy come through the lids and into the third eye and, all that type of stuff you talk about. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed doing it. And what happened would be after a while, doing it consistently for a few months, a day or two later, I would get these vivid visions in the middle of the day. Like, for example, I would see like a group of aggressive beings with a type of technology that was heavily embedded into a planet, and then they would transport that technology to another planet, almost, and put it on there like a slave collar. But the planet they ripped it from, it would either die immediately from that, and then I'd.
All right, so caller, you were telling me about this process that was going on during the sun meditation, and you were saying you became aware because of the sun meditations?
I'm not sure what was happening. That's why I wanted to ask you, but yeah, I would have certain just different types of vivid visions come through a day or two after my sun meditation, and I didn't stop out of fear. I just kind of stopped out of frustration.
Well, whenever you're feeling frustration, you have to ask yourself, why are you frustrated? Because you weren't getting what you expected?
That probably that makes sense to me. I think my frustration, and I thought about it, and I think it was different. To me, it was like a puzzle piece that I couldn't put together, and that's why I was getting frustrated.
And because you didn't have a match for your little square peg and you had no square hole to put it in, you said, I'm not going to play the game anymore.
Yes, I guess you could say that way.
Okay. Do you see a theme here in all of the experiences that we've been talking about, things trying to communicate to you on a regular basis, and you getting mad because the square peg doesn't fit in the multidimensional hole?
Yes.
Conference unlocked.
I'm glad I'm talking to you then. I don't think I would have become aware of it as easily.
Yeah, well, part of choosing to be aware is a choice that has extended choice points within that choice to say, I want to have an experience that is an expectation, isn't learned through precognition, but is an actual experience. The common theme here, they want to communicate and you shut it down.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So what advice would you give me to, I guess...
ceremony and ritual to clear out the old process of expectation, which is a deep introspective look at the previous experiences you had and say, I may have not perceived them all the right way. And there I must form a clean slate, use what is in my previous as context without charge or polarity, so that I can initiate first contact with my guides and guardians in spiritual chord of equity, bringing those that are the right signature frequency match to my few moments of hyperdimensional awareness while I'm in that ceremonial state to begin true first contact that isn't two people meeting on the random street asking if you're in time or no time, that you actually are engaging their no time and your no time frequency to have but a handful of words that make the first set of trust, so that the next time you do it, there's another set of trust, third, fourth, and fifth, until such a time you can get sentences back and forth conversations back and forth until you can build the skill up of basic telepathy. Don't go in thinking you're going to instantly telepathize and sympathize, because that's the great illusion of the ego. It'll take extended moments to truly get heart space telepathy, especially with high density off-worlders who are positive. They also don't want to step on your journey. So they have their own set of rules that make sure that if you're going to maintain first contact, they're going to put what's called a residual image, one being or one imagery you'll represent, but that actually is still the whole collective. At other times, you may meet smaller groups, which are not a massive collective, but a much smaller collective of a different species, but they're still a part of a greater collective. And this is where collectives have themes, moods, desires, different concepts, and this is where some of the gray area exists. And this is where your personal definition of your own story, knowing who you are now, so nothing can confuse you with illusionary technology.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail, the hammer on the head on that one, because I think during those times, I definitely have a expectation. And then I have also finding that I was fighting with instant gratification. So now that I look back, so I think I need to work on those two things.
That's right. And by working on those two things, as a conscious effort, they will communicate back. They've already been knocking on your door for years.
So, thank you so much for that information. You gave me a lot of peace of mind on some things I thought were really bad experiences.
And now you've been able to flip. Now you can flip the frequency on the negativity, and all of that negative energy that was spent about those old is not negative anymore. You could draw it in as a positive source now. Right.
And thank you so much, Mr. Andrew.
You're welcome.
I'm glad I got in so I could talk to you.
Well, you did the work. Okay, you were a little lazy on your first question, then you engaged your genius, and look where we're at now. Okay? To every other caller that's out there, if you ask me from your ignorant state a dumb question, you're going to get an answer you don't understand. As soon as you ask from your genius state, you're going to get something like this caller right here.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Andrew and Debbie and the whole GH team. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Thanks for calling.
You too, sir. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the next caller.
Next caller will be Justin.
Justin, are you there?
I'm here, Andrew. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Where are you calling from today?
I'm real close to you, Andrew. I'm in Port Angeles, Washington.
Nice. Port Angeles, about 3 hours away. How you doing today?
I'm doing excellent now that I'm talking to you.
All right. So how did you find out about me?
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a new one, I think. I'm a new listener, and I found out about you the day of the eclipse.
Okay.
Through Sethicus Boza and Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame Healing Arts. I've been a long-time listener of Sethicus, and right after the eclipse, I watched the video you guys put out. It was my first exposure to your information. I really can't put into words what you've done in my life already. And I want to thank everyone that has called in the month that I have been listening. Oh, I've just reconnected. I've connected with brothers and sisters. After living 30 years alone, this has been a lonely journey. And I want to say thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Andrew. That's my introduction done.
Well, that is a first. That is a first. Ring a ding ding, you get a bell.
Right.
So,
what gold star, hopefully.
So, what questions do you want to ask today?
My most pertinent question today is about my health.
Okay.
I'm 30 years old. A year ago, I started having real significant health problems. Couldn't move my muscles anymore. I couldn't even tie my shoes. So I went to the doctor. They diagnosed me with the condition known as cancer. I don't identify with this word or take ownership of the word. I just use it for identification. And so in the past year, I have been trying to heal my body naturally, holistically, in the right way. I've made some progress. I changed my diet. I changed everything. My whole focus, and I actually got my life's purpose out of this disease diagnosis. But I know the body can heal itself. Throughout this whole process, there was initially fear, right? Because this is the disease or condition that nobody wants to get. And the society is so stigmatized, so brutalized that it just, people just, the word, terror.
Right.
So after I got over the fear, I had known that the medical system in this country is not really congruent with my way of life, way of viewing things. I didn't want to do chemo, surgery, or radiation.
Okay.
What kind throughout the whole process?
What kind of cancer did they diagnose you with?
So this is very, very rare. A tumor, and the location is important here, in the thymus, which I didn't even know about before this, in the thymus gland. It's called a thymoma.
The most rarest cancer in the world.
Right. And so
I want you to know something. This time last year, my co-host Natalie died of thymus cancer.
Oh, I've heard you talk about her several times, and I'm sorry.
It is the rarest form of cancer in the world. It's known as the widow.
But can I just finish something real quick and then let you go off?
Yep.
From what I've heard, the callers that call in, they're talking about their specific health issues, and you already verified your authenticity from the beginning. No question, you're the real deal. And when you point out these specific things, basically, I'm 6'5", 165 pounds. My body's screaming for something, and I know that you have the key right now that might be a lifesaver for me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna end there.
I know. Just stay on the call. I'm gonna have to interact with you a little bit. Just let me. Please. Scan. So, have you had any major car accidents or injuries during your life?
I had a car accident. It was a rollover. It wasn't too traumatic, but they said I had a subneural hematoma. I got a helicopter ride over to Seattle, but then when I got there, they said, "Oh, it's not bleeding." So just went home.
How long ago was that?
That was 9, 10 years.
Yep. Okay. Any other major injuries?
No broken bones. Nothing. Just sick my whole life, like allergies and. Right.
Hold on. I'm just clearing energy out of you right now. Okay. So, how long ago were you diagnosed?
It was almost a year. It was about October 5th
Okay.
of last year.
Yeah, October 5th of last year, and you are surviving the widowmaker cancer that long. When normally when they diagnose it, you have weeks. Yeah.
I have myasthenia gravis so bad I couldn't even swallow my food.
Yeah.
I changed my diet. I'll do the work. I'll save myself. I don't need anyone to save me.
Okay.
Just give me the tools.
So the first thing first is your entire intestinal tract has to be slowly purged and built up. Your immune system is on shaky ground right now, so you're not able to do full-on colonics and colon cleanses.
I've been doing coffee enemas.
You're doing too much right now.
I agree.
Doing too much, and you're actually risking your greater immune health. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, what does your diet consist of right now?
And this is what I'm also knowing that you have an answer for. I had narrowed it down and refined it after. So everything I've done holistically and with all the supplementation and nutrition is after extensive research and then sifting the information to make a decision. And so I made the choice initially to go vegan, dairy-free, meat-free, gluten-free, soy-free,
Okay.
Everything that's recommended by a lot of people that have survived. Coincidentally, there's no information on anybody that's survived this one, I think, on their own, which is my purpose, to survive and help the others.
Beautiful. So,
and I know that I don't right now. My body. Lately, I've been so confused. My body it's on the edge, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And I can't afford to make mistakes anymore.
Let me help.
I've been
you.
a year of trial and error.
Let me help you here now. So you are currently now vegan, non-dairy, non-GMO. How long have you been that since the diet's been like that?
Grain free. This has been for a year.
A full year. All right.
And since I found out,
no. How long have you actually been since you've changed? A whole year?
When I got the diagnosis, I went vegan.
Okay. That answers my question.
Instantly,
that answers
and
my
dairy
question.
free.
What are you doing for your protein? How are you getting your 40 grams of protein?
You see, before I listened to you, the information that I came upon was that the body has a hard time digesting protein, and we really don't need a whole lot of it.
Whoever told you that
we're supposed to eat a lot of fruit.
Whoever told you that is a fucking idiot and should be taken out and shot. That's how you kill yourself with cancer.
Right. The problem I'm having is there's credible sources of information that say different things, and so the sifting part of it and then making the decision, I rely a lot on my intuition, and I feel like it's accurate a lot. But lately, my body's eating itself. It's hard to think. I've been just in a state of confusion.
So the confusion.
I feel like I'm being torn.
Hold on. Let me talk here, man. You're actually in a state of confusion now, and you're slurring your speech, and you don't even realize it. Your body is now consuming its own muscle. You're not in a good health state right now. You absolutely need to start getting 40 to 60 grams of protein a day. And more than likely, you're not going to be able to digest it because your intestinal tract isn't in the right manner. So you have got to start figuring out a cooking process where you can get protein. So your body's no longer eating your muscle. You've got to get protein. So you need to go and get a big old hunk of beef, and you need to go get a pressure cooker and start pressure cooking all of your food. so that it's pre-digested, so it's ready, so more food can go through the stomach. And you just have to figure out what protein powder you can use to supplement other forms of protein. You need a minimum of 40 grams of protein a day. And because you went down the path of the vegan fruit aisle, which could have been in a healthy situation good, but because for you it actually made it worse. It puts your stomach in an acidic state that the way it is to process sugars. You do not want to be processing sugars, period. You need to understand you got to cut the fruit out, the majority of it. Okay? Got to cut it. And whatever is in the past is in the past. The next thing is you got to go at least 21 straight days where you're getting 40 to 60 grams of protein per day. And you're going to have to start looking at your stool. What color is it? What's coming out? Is there mucus in it? Is there foam in it? And for other callers that are out there that you don't want to hear this, tough luck. You actually got investigating it. And you actually do need to go back to the doctor and have your blood cell count taken. Okay? You need to know for yourself where you are at. You already know that a diagnostics is a projection and your goal is that you want to beat it. Just because you have a set of blood tests doesn't confirm or affirm anything is going on other than for your own knowledge. You have survived a year with a cancer no one survives more than 6 to 20 weeks. You already are there. The next part is knowingness. So, do you have an actual homeopath that you see?
I've spent thousands and thousands trying, seeking out medical, holistic, naturopaths, energetics, and I finally found you. So we're good. But there's nobody that treats this stuff. Basically, everyone I've found.
I get what you're saying. So,
everyone I've found, besides going to Mexico or something, that I can't facilitate right now.
Okay, I get what you're saying. This happens to me a lot. I'm the last ditch. So you still need to go and find a doctor that will run blood tests. You got to know what your white cell count is. You got to know that for your own personal evolution. Okay? You are slurring your speech. You are beginning to show signs of the body deteriorating on itself. I think you can clear some of this up by getting a lot of food through you without stopping you up and creating a blockage. That's why you're going to want to pressure cook. Do everything pressure cooked. It's a whole different style of cooking. And then bone broths, those are the next thing, as well as going and getting bones that you can do bone marrow, grilled, baked, or roasted bone marrow. That is the key right now, of getting you usable stuff the stomach and the intestines can break down and turn to energy that stops the consumption of your own muscles, your own sinews, your own intestinal and organ tract. The next part here is, are you using cannabis?
Yes, that's probably why the speech is slurred. One of the treatments I'm doing is RSO. I'm taking 1,000 milligrams of THC a day.
That's too much. That's too much. Why are you taking so much?
That's how much Rick Simpson says you need to take a day to kill cancer cells.
I think you just mentioned 1,000 milligrams. It's 100 milligrams is what you meant. You meant 100 milligrams, not 1,000.
I'm pretty sure I meant 1,000, but I could be incorrect.
Yeah, it's you get the little rice pellet.
No, I get it's like black oil, and it's
actually 100. It's actually 100. What are you taking on your CBDs?
Well, I was taking about 60 milligrams a day, but I dropped that down.
Okay.
I want to know if the pawpaw. I'm taking pawpaw treatment right now, and I'm not sure if it's effective because right the symptoms of myasthenia gravis really flared up. I couldn't chew my
flared.
food
It's
anymore.
flared up because you've been over processing sugar. That's why it's flared up. Okay, your body's not dealing with sugar well. It's breaking down because the cancer cells want the sugar. Anyways, you need to up your CBD levels. So, are you familiar with how to grow your own plants? It is legal in Washington State.
Yes, I am, and I just got my medical card the other day.
All right, so what I want you to do is you need to start juicing the cannabis plant, the raw plant. So you need to grab seeds or clones and make a grow room and grow them big. Now, if you know anyone that has plants that they can donate to you from your area, if a wet bud about like the size of this, my hand, half the size of my hand, you can grind that up into a juice. You can do the five-fingered flowers that have fronds that hang off. Learning how to grow, and you need to grow a lot. You need to juice 6 straight weeks. So you need, all right. So every now and then I just got to break the radio rules. So you need to do a mass sea of green. So you need to produce 60 to 70 seeds. And if you can create the light throw, which is lights that are above it, that are actual cannabis grow lights, you're not actually going to let the flowers grow to buds. You're just going to keep chopping up the green fronds and juicing those 3 times a day. Now, you can let some of that 60 plants grow all the way, but within 6 to 7 weeks, their first sets of buds will go. They'll show what sex they are. And then you got to make sure you got to keep grinding up. But if you can get a couple plants to an elder age and you're hanging on in there and you can, you will quadruple to 25 times increase your CBD intake. You'll be consuming THCA. You'll be juicing it in a masticating juicer. THCA is the unconverted full CBD. Even the raw plant material's full of that. And you'll begin rapidly absorbing that for full-on tumor reduction, pain reduction. Alternatively, you can have dry cannabis and let's say 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of brown frown merch or something to that effect, or some mediocre quality. Chop it up or put it in a food processor, 2 taps, so it just breaks it up into a bit of a powder. And you're going to make a gigantic tea bag out of it. And then you're going to get a very hot bathtub and you're going to stick that bag in there and you are going to float in that bag, in that whole sea of THC that has been activated at temperatures more than 120 degrees, which makes the cannabis active. And this is going to be a giant tea bath for you. Now, it isn't cheap to do this, okay? But this is the way you will begin to mass absorb CBDs. And for you to take in CBD, your THC levels also have to be balanced. So you need to look at the black oil and look at the actual numbers and figure out how you can increase your internal CBD. Right now, your intestinal tract isn't actually digesting pills all the way. It doesn't have the oomph behind it because you're putting all of your energy into consuming muscle right now. This is why pressure cooking the food is absolutely necessary, so your body goes to start making the right internal flora and fauna inside there so that you can begin to break stuff down and begin to put toxins into that pressure cooked beef that ultimately comes feces that you then poop out later. You are also going to have to find some form of semi-stool softener in your early part of the day so you can get things moving. There are some really soft detox teas that are out there. And again, you cannot do heavy detox. You really got to cut your home coffee enemas down to once or twice a week. No more than that. No more than 8 times or 7 times per month. And in fact, more like 3 or 4 for a while. You've detoxed your liver enough. Now you just got to get it out of the body. Now, there's more going on here with you. Just give me a second to scan. What did you do as a job before you were diagnosed?
It's been a lot of construction, a lot of hard labor, a lot of unemployment.
Hard labor life. All right. Just give me a second. Let me scan a little deeper. Every cancer has a spiritual side behind it. Every cancer. And it is
can I say something real quick?
Sure.
This is what I wanted to say in the beginning, but I forgot. I wrote down word for word. The other day, I was listening to one of your recent videos. It was the one you just did with Sethicus, where you did the question and answer.
Yeah.
And I wrote it down what you said, and I knew I needed to speak with you because you said, "For wherever there is cancer, there is rage.
Yep.
For wherever there is cancer, there is an unresolved spiritual issue, and the frequency that is giving a termination date. Each and every one of those termination dates can be stopped and altered by energy alone through the facilitation process of opening the proper corridors in the governing vessel, not the Kundalini process."
Yep.
On and on.
Yep. I know the statement very well. So governance of energy is what I'm trying to get here to you. It is rage, anger, and those unresolved issues that stop the governing vessel from flowing. The conception vessel is the downward, the governing vessel is the upwards. Yours is in reverse right now. Your conception vessel is doing the governor's vessel's work, and the governor's vessel is doing the conception vessel's work, which means there is rage and anger at a yearly age deep inside you that you have not been able to get rid of. Suppressed, deeply suppressed. So what was it like with mom and dad growing up?
It was, dad was gone. Mom was very strict authoritarian. I was grounded a lot. I was disciplined, and basically I'm the guy that I just break the rules because I don't believe in rules. And so I was in trouble a lot my whole life.
Which has caused rage. Rage,
conflict,
uncontrollable
and a
rage.
Bad relationship with my mom. And so when I got sick, I started working on my mental thought, emotion, attitude. And so I've been working to change these things, and I've completely reversed my thought process. And I did have a cancerous attitude. I don't anymore.
But you're still suffering.
I've been doing all this work, and
sure, and you're still alive.
All right.
Personally, I think there should be a movie person out there that should contact you tomorrow and see what it takes to survive the unsurvivable cancer. Why don't you give out your email if somebody wants to send you a movie producer thing? Just say an email that people could get a hold of you.
Give out my email right now?
Yeah. Take a risk.
Okay. I'm not into acquiring riches or anything, but I am into helping people and healing this world. So my email is justin0937.jj@gmail.com.
Thank you. Now, unresolved rage is one of the most easiest and the most difficult things to get rid of. To go any more on air is more about some of the rage issues that you got to let go. But before I let you go, I want you to know something. You synchronistically showing up here now is a great message for myself. The uniqueness of thymus cancer that's come through my own personal process, Natalie, and then another friend that I had also died of the most rarest cancer in the world. So you're now the third person in less than a year that I've known that has the most rarest cancer in the world.
And we're so close in proximity.
And two of them are already dead. And they'd all didn't survive long. They were weeks, not a year. They were gone in weeks.
I'm not afraid.
I know that.
I'm going to live.
I know you are. Win. And you need a support structure. That's the key. So part of getting rage out is making sacred energy in which you can let some of it out. It's like learning how to shadow box and spar, but not taking the energy of negativity on, but just letting it out. So what I'm going to describe for you is an outdoor fire ceremony I would like for you to try to do. Are you able to do an outdoor fire?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do is to get a big sum of wood, several wheelbarrows full. And when you start the fire, I want it to slowly build up, and I want it to be pretty big. Like, once it gets going, that you wouldn't have to add wood to it for a good hour or two. And that's going to be really tall flames, at least as tall as you. Okay? And you said you were like 6'5".
So right.
You want big, hot fire. And I want you to make a big circle around it, even if you got to get string and some sticks to show you a 30-foot circle around it. And I want you to walk on the inside of the string when you are happy, and on the outside of the string when you're angry. And then learn how to step over the string from happiness to anger. And when you're inside, you're going to be telling your story to the fire. And when you're outside of the string, you're talking about the rage and anger of having to conform to a world. Because there's two parts of you creating the separation. So thymus cancer is a separation, and for your ability to manifest and ground is the singularity. And there's the dualities that's affecting you. That means you are a powerful dream world person also. And coming into unity is what thymus cancer is representing wasn't happening, complete disunity. And you need to bring yourself into a unity format, which is to acknowledge that there were great frustrations that turned into angers, that turned into rage and suppressions because of the reality forcing you to conform, even though your greater inside said, don't conform, don't conform, don't conform. Now, all these years later, it has become manifest as a thymus cancer. Thymus is known as the high heart. That is that little slice of brain that became the high heart, that became the whole part of the system interactive with the body, mind, and soul. Whatever goes through the thymus goes through the wholeness of the body. And one of the reasons this cancer is so aggressive is it can spread to anywhere in the body instantly, because the thymus technically connects to all of the lymph nodes. So it can spread and spread and spread and spread and never stop.
So Andrew, real quick, that you just said that I've got lymph nodes in my neck that were hard as a rock and super large, and I've been working on draining the lymphatics, and these I'm just assuming they're tumors, or just poison lymph nodes have gotten smaller and softer, and I can feel it in my chest.
Yeah. So you have to be very, very, very careful with body work that's done on you. Very careful. So lymphatic draining comes in many, many ways. You can do lymphatic draining just by, your own stretching, your own moving of your own muscles, your own touching of your own body. And there are certain techniques that you can learn, as you've learned, that to assist your lymphatic drain. But doing some lymphatic stretching and learning the exercise of that is very, very good. Now, as for those are tumors, man. Those are tumors. Okay? Even though they're
I've gotten them to get smaller.
Yes, that's because
a good sign, right?
That's because you're taking your THC, and the THC is doing what it's supposed to do. It's tumor reduction, the CBD and the THC.
Right.
And on air, I have a very slim latitude before the law says what I'm doing is diagnosing and being a doctor, and what I'm doing is not doing that. I'm telling you, the volume of THC you're doing from the Rick Simpson method is softening those up. It's once again provable that no matter what the cancer it is pliable and removable, and you can get it out of your system. Now, once you start eating protein and start pressure cooking your food, you have a potential of those tumors rapidly reducing, and you actually being able to absorb more CBDs in your body by juicing the cannabis plant, which will probably, in a good opportunities, if you can consume the right amount of THCA as a juiced cannabis plant, begin to counteract some of the other tumors that are spread throughout your body. You got them all over. All over.
Can I ask a question on nutrition real quick?
Yeah.
I'd like to eat a lot more foods, but can this be done? Can I get the 40 to 60 grams of protein without eating animal flesh?
No. Nope. You want to live, you got to eat the meat. You got to eat a lot of it, and not just meat. You need to pressure cook everything.
I was under the impression that eating flesh was a spiritual activity.
No. Eating of flesh is an offering, and that's part of the ancestral process. The animal already knew it before it. And there is still intelligence in vegetables and trees, too. There is no difference. I've had this vegan debate back and forth. Your health is on the line. Are you going to die over not eating meat? Are you going to choose death over not eating meat?
Right.
Okay. And for all the potential vegans out there that are throwing their comments back, this man's life is on the line. That's why he's choosing to consume.
I was ready to die. I'm that steadfast in what I believe in.
Okay. Right.
Because yeah.
Okay. For all the future trolls that are out there, they're going to troll this with comments on veganism. This man's life's on the line. That's why I'm telling him to eat meat. That's why I'm telling him to pressure cook his food. If he doesn't get protein that his body can actually digest, that isn't sugar-based, he's going to die. Okay? And that goes out to all the other zealot, martyr vegans out there that have wasted themselves away. You need your protein too. There is all vegan, natural whey protein out there. Get in and get your protein. Now, a little bit more with you. Getting rid of rage and anger has to be a daily process. I was telling you about the ceremony on the inside and the outside. That is so you can go through the separation of anger and frustration and the truth about your story. So one of the things that I talk about is called telling your story to the fire. And that is an authentic retelling of everything that you can remember of who you are, what you've done over the years. And I know once your mortality was faced, you've looked back at your life. And if you begin to make this a ritual and ceremony with the high fire tops and begin to make it your sacred input, you will begin to get revelations about your own anger, where it's from, and how to let it go. Now, there are some trauma release concepts that you're going to learn at the course that are going to greatly, greatly help you. The shaman's death, the sanctuary for all souls, the peacekeeper and the peacemaker, teachings that you'll be able to take to your sacred fire and continuing a different form of health, the spiritual mind and soul health. That is what these out loud name it to claim it processes are. You came to me through Cephicus Boza, and we came together in a unique moment to do the union and communion consciousness strike. Have you read that one yourself?
Yes, I have read out loud all the revocations that you have online just once, all the way through. They take a while, and I'm working right now. So
how did you feel when you were doing them?
The masculine when I did the masculine one, there was a line in there that gave me such a strange feeling, and so I repeated it. But it was about how men aren't supposed to show emotion for women. I don't remember word for word. It was amazing. What I have been doing is I like to go out into the forest. So I've been taking my shoes and socks off and standing out in the woods and doing the revocations. I feel like it's important to be grounded to Mother Earth.
Beautiful. So at the event, you're gonna get the whole boot camp into sacred ceremonial and sacred living that you're gonna be able to take and really transform. And I want you to see the growing of your own cannabis plants as your own sacred medicine crop. Just as if shamans of the old days had their special farm that grew their crop, this is your sacred crop. So if you could get seeds and put them over your heart and sleep with them and put prayers to them to say that you are the seeds that are going to grow so that I can consume the THCA and heal my cancer. You already know the Rick Simpson method works. You're just amplifying it so that you can get more of the tumor reduction side of the plant. The reason you're taking the black oil is because you needed that heavy dosing and volume, and I very much agree with the Rick Simpson method. Conversely, that not everyone can stay that stoned all the time, and they lose track of who they are. So there is a fine line and balance. You can take the same amount, but the key is you need large volumes of plants to continuously juice. This is why you make a whole bunch of plants and keep trimming them every day after they've grown to 2 or 3 weeks of age. Those plants go tremendously fast, especially if you give them basic nutrients and water. And YouTube is full of books and stuff of concept of how to grow your own thing by a single light. You can go out and get a $150 light from a weed grow shop and have 60 seeds in little paper cups with the basic grow dirt in each one. And in 2 weeks, it'll be that tall. And that's 2 servings of juice right there. And you have times that by 60, maybe you put them in a little bigger cup. So as you're letting them grow, they get more bushy and more bushy. So that you start getting at least 2 to 3 times a day. You will begin to absorb THC in mass, have the actual intestinal tract that can break it down because you're using a masticating juicer, and your volume of THC will give you the potential of general tumor reduction, general pain reduction. That is what it does. Combined with the Rick Simpson method, the volume of THC, the volume of THC tells the body how much CBD you can absorb. It's directly correlated to each other. And because you're on the Rick Simpson method, you need to figure out how you can absorb more CBD side, and that is the juicing of the cannabis plant and the taking of the baths in it. If you've got the extra money, I mean, again, making a tea bag out of a whole ounce of weed seems pointless, doesn't it? But if you keep that water hot enough, and it'll stay good for days, so you can use it more than once. It's not like you're taking a bath and soaping yourself up. You're floating in it to absorb THC. Activated THC. It's a giant, weed teacup.
I never thought about that.
Okay?
Oh.
Again, this is because the cannabis industry doesn't like to make large volumes available. In the old days, when people got severe cancers like you did that rapidly spread, they would take 1/3 of an acre of cannabis and grind it all down into a paste and stick it in a big bathtub, and they'd float them in there for a day. A whole 1/4 acre. They're high as fuck for a week. Okay? And again, this is radio. I can't always talk about other ways of, mass absorption. Like, example, when you do your enemas, The anus, the rectum is the most rapidest way to absorb fluids into your body. When you go and do colonics, most people, their first fill up, their body and instantly absorbs the saline water. So the same thing can be done. You can take it in other orifices. I'll simply say that. But you got to know what you're doing. So floating in the weed bath. Okay? You can save the water and reuse it. Okay? It's all about reheating the water or getting in there at whatever temperature it is.
Right. I appreciate that, and I will definitely pursue that. That's far off in the distance right now. Nutritionally, I need to know what I can eat, because I feel like I'm on the edge.
You are, because you've been eating so much fruit and your body's only processing sugars. And I'm serious, you need to go get a pressure cooker from Walmart tonight and start learning how to cook your food, pressure cook. I'd say, honestly, the first thing you should go and get is a beef brisket or a corned beef, and that's the first thing you're going to pressure cook. Or a pork loin, make fall apart shredded pork. Yeah, it's been a long time since you've ate meat, but you have got to start getting that protein, because you need to be able to change your body from processing sugars only.
How about fish to start with?
Fish, chicken, whatever. You're going to, again, pressure cooking is going to cook it at high pressure and high temperature. Yes, there's still going to be nutrients in it, but you need to start eating 5 to 6 small meals per day. You can't use giant meals. It's literally 5 to 6 small meals per day that adds up to 40 to 60 grams of protein. And you can supplement with shakes. There's a system out there called isogenics that you should look at. They have a very, very, very soft, simple shake cleanse system that has protein and all the minerals and nutrients and other stuff like that.
Right. So internally, a lot of days I throw up because I can feel blockages and I can feel like stuff is not moving.
Right.
And so I just throw up because I've got pressure in my chest area.
And you've got candida, and you've got candida from all the sugar.
Right.
So I'm going to have Debbie contact you, and I'm going to give you a list of things. Colorex with a K, Kolorex. You can get that over the counter. That will immediately take care of your candida. But it's really about styles of cooking and reintegrating food, because you are going to continue to have vomiting processes until you've got enough protein through your body and you're not eating only your muscle right now. Right now, you're eating muscle. Your body's in starvation mode, and you really don't have long left before you are at pass out state where you'll have to go into a hospital.
I know, I feel it.
Matt, you know it. So You got to change it now. You can't go on much longer like this. You do need to go see the doctor. You do need to know what your white count level is, so that you can begin to adjust yourself and your diet, as well as the volume that you're taking. If you're going to be serious about following through, you got to figure out if somebody can donate you the live cannabis plants. If there's anybody here listening in Washington State that he gave his email out that has live plants that wants to donate to him so he can juice the shit out of them, please give him that. You know, the weed industry itself wants to make money left and right, but there's people out here within 20 miles of my house here in Washington State that are growing a half acre of it, but they all want to have money for it. Okay? You got to grow like you've never grown before, and you're going to have to grow indoors because it's coming to be winter now. If you had 3 fully grown plants that were wet, if they were dried, they would have made 5-6 ounces each of dried. That's enough for you to go six weeks, because you don't have to butcher the whole plant at once. You just carve it up like a turkey. This big ass bud today, this couple medium-sized ones this day, this medium-sized one that day. So the plant still gets to grow even though you're trimming and clipping it. That's enough for your 6 weeks. And that's enough THCA to really give you the boost so that you can start processing food again and get out of body survival mode. That's ultimately going to determine if you're going to beat this or not. Body survival mode. Being able to absorb food, protein, keep an intestinal tract that has the right immune levels in it. 80% of your immune system is in your intestinal tract. And because you followed the path of sugar, your intestinal tract is sugar related. And the antibodies that are created are more for a sugar base. You don't need the sugar-based antibodies. Man, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for calling. You were a big teacher to a lot of people.
Thank you.
You know, I look forward to meeting you at the event and giving you a big hug.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I want everyone to give him a big prayer. See his cancer being reduced. See him smiling and running around and having a chance to say, I am the first one that survived the Widowmaker. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. It's time for one more caller. Nate from Colorado, are you there?
Yes, I am. How's it going? Can you hear me?
Good, Nate. How are you doing today?
Very good, and I'm really glad that Justin called. It was really awesome, just everything that he spoke about. And the other day with the weather special that you released, you had a classic caller that was Divinity Path, and I don't know word for word, but you told her to do something before she went to sleep, and I did that, and it was just absolutely amazing. Just I had a very, very, very lucid dream. Just I haven't had them a lot very often, just because of a lot of issues that I've been having. So sorry. I just moved to Colorado recently, so I'm still getting used to the elevation. But yeah, just a lot of what you have talked about has just resonated with me so much. And in 2012, I had an incident where I was in a coma, and I saw so much. Like I went to different dimensions. And I'm not sure if it was past lives I was seeing, but I do know I'd left my body and I saw myself, and just a lot of these experiences have just led me on the path that I'm on now. I'm doing energy work, and whenever I get a chance, I try to help people and heal people, whether it's like making teas or just encouraging them, just being very positive and a very good influence. So I'm glad to be able to talk to you, and I'm really glad that I found out about you.
Outstanding. So what questions did you want to ask today?
So what I wanted to talk about was that incident really, whenever in 2012, just a lot of the things that I saw, just if you could tune into that, it was like October 2012, and just I saw basically it was like a breakdown of the Matrix, if you want to say. I saw beings in the room that I was in actually constructing the reality around me, and they actually they made me sign a contract, and that's the other thing that really resonated with when I first heard you talking about soul contract and DNA skin suits. I mean, I've been to so many places, but I already know just from hearing you talk, and just like exactly what Justin said, the previous caller, you know, you're so spot on. Like everything you say, it's in layers, but it's meant to be that way so that people can understand it, and it may not kick in right away. Like just the information, you're so consistent. It's so on point with what I've seen, what I've experienced in my life, and I had a point in that experience when I was in that coma where I saw myself lifting people up and just helping. So I know I'm here to help people. It's just I've been, I guess you could say, under attack. A lot of entities trying to get in my head, pull me back into the Matrix, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to the live event, but I've already pretty much getting a private session set up for sometime after the 16th, whenever you're available again.
Okay. So what put you into a coma?
It was from benzodiazepine, Xanax. I was prescribed to it. My lung collapsed from pneumonia, and I was prescribed to so many pain medications, just like Soma, Dilaudid, morphine, oxycodone. I was just a zombie, basically, and it got to a point to where I was just so much hatred, anger, and I basically, my brother was stealing things from me, to make a long story short, and basically I'd gotten locked up, and basically I couldn't get my medication anymore, and it brought me into this experience of awakening.
Yeah. So just so you know that coma was spiritually contracted for you to happen. And for you to come back into body with a refabricated reality where you didn't actually die, and because the previous caller, I said at any moment with cancer as well with any death date, you can change it at will. And you did that. And that's why they made you sign a new contract, because you had actually changed your potentials of futures.
I actually had escaped from their system. I saw the court system. They put me through. They hacked into my mind. They cut me into pieces. They tortured me. They sentenced me to hell for 7 years. They did all these things until I came to a point where I was like, no, this is my mind. This is my body. Right. You do not control me. You have no power over me.
Mm-hmm. And you won.
Yes.
And you won.
I'm here.
And you're here
today.
And you're here today.
I can't wait to be able to meet you eventually, but just what I saw, I know what my purpose is just, I've been struggling, and I know I'm in Colorado for a reason. I left the sacred geometry grid of Atlanta, which just didn't want to let me go, but I visited Colorado, and I just started having dreams, dream after dream after dream. It's like I got to go there and reconnect with myself, which is what I did. I'm in the mountains. I love it, but eventually I'm going to have to go somewhere else, because it's just in my nature to travel, to meet people, to learn about people, to teach people, and I want to do anything I can to help our society, basically, and just lift everyone up and raise the vibrations, and that's basically kind of what my mission is. And
all right, so let me give you a little advice.
Okay.
The era of you as a traveling personality are over.
Yes.
Okay. So that dream that you think you're going to be out travel and do this and do that is just going to lead to random partying.
Okay.
The party life has to completely 100% end.
Okay.
2, you need to understand that you need to stay grounded in those mountains for a minimum of 7 months, so that you can finish having the dreams. You were summoned to that place for a reason, as part of your new contracts for coming back in. And like the first caller, who beings have been trying to communicate to you for a very long time, and they need you as a fixed point in space-time to be a fixed point in space-time, so they can actually triangulate you with your new spiritual contracts and begin to have first contact and first communication with you.
Okay.
That is hollow earthers and off-worlders. Now, these are individual soul family members who are in physical existence, who will attempt to communicate to you through the mind, through the cerebral process. You need to practice heart space awareness. The tree meditations, the Sanctuary of All Souls, the Grove of the Patriarchs and the Matriarchs are the ones that are going to help you build heart space awareness. It's vitally important that you begin to do the sun meditation, which is looking at the sun with your eyes closed, so you through your eyelids you see the sun.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to start doing that in the mountain air. The Sacred Geometry City was siphoning 60% of your available energy off. And now that you're grounded, you're going to get all of that energy that was siphoned away is going to come back to you through dreams. And you're going to have to really chronicle these dreams and begin to chronicle your daily actions and visions. It's important that you become repetitive and cyclical in your meditations. So if you're going to get up, if you're an early get up person, then get up and do your meditations early so the rest of the day is yours. Or if you're a
Absolutely.
night person, switch yourself to night and do your meditations at night. For the longest time, at 3 o'clock in the morning, whether I was asleep or I was awake, I would stop and do my specific meditations. Then I switched to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I was able to move the time that I have my greatest energy. Ultimately,
Okay.
this is what you have to do. You have to figure out when is my peak energy of the day and when is my lowest energy of the day, and be able to flip the frequency on either of those because you regularly practice during the two oppositions.
Absolutely.
Okay? The next part here is you got to start doing ceremony.
Yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Authentic, deep ceremony that is telling your story to fire, that is using the contract revocations, that is creating also your own, so that you can make a set of rules, borders, policies, and procedures. So when you make first contact with someone, you know how to respond to it, and when something makes first contact to you, you know how to. They know how to respond.
Okay.
Okay. There, and it's similar to that other caller. One more. Just give me a second. So, when's the last time you really dated?
The last time I really dated, it was about a year ago.
And what ended that?
Just pretty much just got tired of just the way that the relationship was going. She had an issue with drugs that I was trying to help her through. She had actually gotten clean for a while and just, just started falling apart. She just got pulled right back in. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So, I just pretty much left after that.
Okay. I want you to start trying to date again now that you're out in Colorado. It's important for your growth that energy be turned back on, that you have access to your male energy. Okay?
Okay.
And it's not spitting machine gun game. Every now and then you got to cock the rifle once a week and see if you can spit out one line that might be heard or not. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to try. As long as you're not trying, you are going to diffuse your greater growth.
Okay.
Okay? And if you do find someone and they are compatible, you need to start having a lot of sex. A lot.
Right.
Okay? You need to get that kundalini rising.
You're
okay?
right. Yeah,
and if
I've definitely been feeling it.
And if you can find the right partner that you can talk about sacred sexuality, which is the energy work that goes within that, you might even be finding yourself on a scenario where you can be riding the great roller coaster.
Okay.
Where some experiences are going to come in at superluminal speeds and your hair's going to be slicked back every time you wake up from dreams.
Right.
And you got to be ready to record the shit.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah, you're right.
You are being...
And that was the thing with the journaling. That's one thing that I haven't been doing. I had a period, not too long after that coma, where I was journaling pretty regularly, writing about my dreams, the dreams I was having, and I just got out of it, I just got sucked back into the whole sacred geometry system, just like all these symbols and just, the materialism and just, money and getting so caught up in that. And that's why I had to leave. And I knew, I had to basically ground myself. And I've been practicing, I do Tai Chi, Qigong energy work. Mm-hmm. And I've been really getting back into that routine. It took me about a year before I really actually started to perceive the energy and actually feel it through my body to help heal a lot of problems that I have, just, back issues, just muscles, and just I did a lot of hard labor, just like working in a warehouse for many years. So just fixing all of that and being able to teach other people, because from what I've learned is, even if you don't have a teacher, if you know more than another person, then you are a teacher. And, and getting into that and just, helping people on their way as well.
So, as I was listening to you speak and talk about Tai Chi and the energies and the views, there was this background vision that I saw. Mm-hmm. And what it is you are being groomed by your guides, your guardians, and your off-world protectors. Mm-hmm. And I use the word off-world protectors for a reason. You saw the Matrix for what it is.
I've been there. I called for help, and they took me to this place. The only way I could describe it was just I felt okay. You know, I felt where I could actually I felt happy, and there's just no words to really describe the feeling that I had.
I know,
but I knew it was great. So
I've been there too.
Yeah.
So I get what you went through.
Absolutely.
And as I'm saying, they are grooming you to have, let's just say, top secret access to what I'll call HDMI, high density military intelligence.
Okay.
And within access to high density military intelligence means they're going to give you forewarning on how the dream process is going to be changed in our world.
Okay.
And you are going to be a dreaming witness and testimony and giving dreaming testimony to the changes that are being done. Again, you are being groomed as a multiple form of contactee.
Okay.
I would say there's at least 65 different species that are in line through your protectorate to have cultural connections to you. So
I felt that.
You got to realize you are about to have 65 brand new best friends.
I've met many different beings. There's just not many ways to describe them here. I've met good beings, bad beings, just, you know, all sorts of, the ones that try to trick you, the ones that are authentic.
Right.
When you meet them, you just know. It's that knowingness inside, and that's what I've really been trying to tune into.
That's why you've been exposed. That's why you've been exposed to these people. And now, can you imagine having 65 best friends? No.
I could.
You probably can't. It's probably hard for you to truly imagine having 65 best friends.
Yeah.
That's what you're being groomed for right now. That's why all of these dream experiences are happening. That's why you had your coma. They all are going to have similar traits reflective of you, of what you've gone through this life. They will have their as below, so above, as above, so below, their reflection of those lessons that need to be learned.
Okay.
And you're going to have to learn new cultures. One of them is going to be a reptilian style species, but they're not the bad guys. You know, they've done some bad shit in their time, but they pulled out a while ago, this particular one that I'm referring to.
All what they were doing, and they changed. Okay.
They did change, you know, but they still got to be watched because they're still the nature of the snake. Now, there will be other ones that are human-looking that you won't continue relationships because they are the human negatives. And then there's going to be the human positives, the blue beings, the red beings, the purple beings, the rainbow beings. You get endless amounts of shapes and sizes, octopoids, all sentient beings that you've lived in their culture before. And they innately know you through the soul family resonance, and they're like, holy shit, this motherfucker's on this world. We've got a medium.
I got you.
Okay? And you're being groomed for great communication. That's why you're in those mountains. Now it's time to begin your first contact process. You know, you're so similar to the first caller. Okay?
Yes.
Don't be afraid anymore. Engage, make the first contact.
What would you recommend? What's the best way? I'm not really sure how to do that in this stage when I was...
Ritual and ceremony. And again, I'm going to go back to the course. The course is layered for this.
I'm not planning on going ahead and signing up for that. Just due to all the information I've heard, all the things that I've resonated with, everything that you've said, there's just no way that I can't. I mean, I've done all the different revocations, the heart meditation, shaman's death, the communion, the one for all souls. I pretty much did all of them that you had. I read through all of them just because I knew that I needed to. And just from that alone, I can't even tell you how much energy was just brought back the other day. It's just almost like when I do a really good Tai Chi and Qigong set, you feel the energy just flowing through you, you know, and then being able to reconnect the governing vessel and the conception vessel that was broken during puberty. That was another thing that I had been working on to get the energy flowing through my body well so that I can open up that communication.
Yep. And beginning to practice those cyclically every day. Let's say you take the consciousness strike and the sanctuary of all souls, you do that as your morning practice, and you do another one as your evening practice. The more that you do, the more it's going to repay you. The key is repetition, illumination. Repetition, illumination. That's why you do teach Tai Chi and Qigong, because it shows you illumination.
Yes, absolutely. And it helps me to quiet my mind.
Beautiful.
And it helps me to focus on the energy and to actually move it through the body to actually remove blockages. And that's why I really, really enjoy it, because I actually feel it.
So you're in Colorado. Have you experienced snow before? Because in Atlanta doesn't exactly get snow.
I moved here in January, so yeah, I got to experience. It's actually a lot warmer than it had been. From what my friend told me, he's been here since 2014. It's actually been very, very warm.
Well, this winter's going to change.
It's spraying really hard, and just a lot of the stuff that they're doing, that they're trying to do to change, or just whatever they're trying to still do with their game. Even though it's pretty much, they know the game is pretty much up. Going to keep trying, and it's just like I feel it though. It's like it hurts, just whenever they keep sending these signals. Like another thing I've been trying to do is just, because they send these frequencies and I hear them. I'm very clairaudient and clairvoyant, and I don't know, sometimes it feels like they've been hitting me a lot harder since I've really done all your revocations. Like they're trying to get me back, but I don't want to go back in, I'm like, I'm done with this, no more. I'm taking my power, claim my I am self, I've done a lot of things that you said made a huge difference.
Yeah, now you got to start having those ceremonies that fortify you with such intensity that they will no longer even think about penetration testing you. Right now they're just testing to see if you're long-term serious.
What was that?
They're just testing you to see if you're long-term serious. Remember, even the darkies are no time.
I knew they had no power, because I'd said no before, but it's just they're biding their time. And the other thing is, there's like an entity attached to a friend of mine that is pretty powerful, that it doesn't want to let go, even though it knows. It's like, I'm not going to give you anything anymore willingly. It's like it just doesn't want to stop, and it's just, I'm not going to give into it. It's just but it knows how to like poke at you. I guess you could say.
And that's why you got to learn to fortify your reality with the various teachings that are out there. And you can put so much intensity into the fortification that it does not limit you and prevents the other entities from having any access to you. Now, the other aspect of this course is called the Peacemaker and the Peacekeeper. And it's learning how to encapsulate any projecting energy into a dream world, that so it can go and have its resolution, even though it's not actually affecting you. You create an illusionary world that it's trapped in, just like it does to us, and it never knows it's not siphoning off of you. And the Peacekeeper energy brings your guides and guardians to put them in a neutral space where they're, sucking on their own thumb, because they are finite children. Okay. Pick up your use of the consciousness strike. Begin to have cyclical fire ceremonies. The bigger the fire, the better for you in this short term until your winter comes.
So what I was going to say was that's the one thing I love fire, and I really want to do it, but they have burn bans where I'm at in Colorado, because it gets so dry. So there's not many times where you can actually burn a fire.
Well, then you can switch to a gas grill with a big pot of soup on it.
Okay. That'll work.
Have you heard me talk about ancestral soups on the previous shows?
I'm not sure if I've seen one where you talked about ancestral soup.
Basically, it's a way to, if a lot of people have burn bans and are unable to burn, you can just get an outdoor burner, gas burner, and put a big pot of water on it. That's the same technology. Instead of praying over the wood, you're going to pray over the liquid gas. You're going to pray over the water. You're going to put the same time, effort, and energy that you would into a fire, into another outdoor scenario where you can do it on your back porch. Okay? Read all the revocations to it. Then at the end, you want to spread the soup wherever you want your energies to be. Underneath your car, by your mailbox, save some of it and throw it on the local Masonic temple, all sorts of things. Okay? And it's just building it. You can also eat the soup. That is your own prayers. There's nothing wrong with that. That is consuming your own message, so you truly learn from within.
because
Okay.
you're reprogramming the water
Yes, you're pre-programming the water
as well.
with the fullness of creation of a meal.
Okay.
Right. And if you put 3 hours of honest effort and prayers and meditation teachings into that, what do you think you're going to get if you were to consume that over a period of 4 days?
A lot, a whole lot.
And dreams are going to flow because your dreaming
Okay.
body's in your intestinal tract. And you have just consumed this creation of dreams and given your intestinal tract permission to dream and
I
to
see.
connect to the
Yeah.
I am,
Okay.
so that you can begin to have first contact, that you understand, that you can process, that you can integrate, that doesn't create fear.
Okay.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling. I got to end the show today. You've been a great
Appreciate it.
caller.
Yep. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. Look forward to seeing you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to thanks a lot. Thank everyone for showing up today. Thanks a lot, everyone. I look forward to my next call-in show. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.